Hi guys, this is Allison from Cat Creations. Please like, share, and subscribe to my channel if you have yet to do so. And if you get anything from my work, connect the dot, an epiphany, a mind-blown moment or explosion, a new book to read, a new author to explore. I got artwork going on AlleyCatCreations211.com. It's just a portfolio. If you would like anything, my email is on the website and also down below if you would like anything that I make, or if you would like to support me in my work. And I want to thank all the new subscribers and people just checking me out. I really appreciate it, because the things that I have to say are not easy concepts, and it rattles people's brains. And it's on a level that is hard to walk through. And we're going to get straight into it with spiritual soul advice. I've been up since 5 a.m. and it's currently 9 a.m. This is an early morning spiritual soul advice because my life has been crazy. I've been posting pictures on my Facebook page, and I didn't do the other days. I don't remember if I posted on Telegram. My mind's all frizzed out. Highly recommend. I'm not doing a book review just yet because I just hit page 106. Okay. And I've been reading this every morning when I get the girls to school. And I already have like a lot written. This book is going to help you. You don't necessarily need to believe the stars in starseeds, Arcturians, Palladians, or any of that, because I don't necessarily subscribe to any of those races, cultures either. I know they exist. I know they're here. I know I am a Palladian of my other self, but I know there's other selves that are playing different roles and different densities. And I illustrated some stuff for us today. But I read something very monumental. I've been reading. Half this book is marked already. Very monumentous stuff that helps me word better what I'm going through. Yeah. It's a lot. So for me, in my journey, I had the veil in certain aspects and components of my life not quite opaque. So I saw through a lot of things. And this was purposely done by my higher self and my oversoul, so that when the awakening time, which is now and here, and been here for a while, this has been since probably I was born, things started changing in Earth, where she was going through her ascension process. If we detach emotionally, and now I'm getting channeled, so if we can look back in the 1980s, a lot of us 80s babies were seeded for a specific purpose, and that was to raise the frequency of Mother Gaia as she was already in her ascension process. This has been going on for a very long time. The baby boomers, my parents were boomers. They didn't birth me, but they raised me. They have a specific frequency that was needed on this planet at that time. Unbeknownst to many of them, and a lot of you might be boomers. My parents were boomers. They needed to be here just to seed the frequency and to raise, even if they're indoctrinated and you don't even know it, they were here with a purpose. And that is also to seed many of us. I know that my parents had me later on in life, and in adoption terms, but a lot of the boomers' children, which are many people that are watching me, you hold higher frequency keys that helped ascend Gaia, because she's sentient, she's conscious. She moved forward because of a lot of you. So congratulations. Many of us seated in the 80s and 90s are here to be wave showers. And that's not waves of like what Dolores Cannon was talking about, because your unique soul frequency and signature has a purpose regardless of when you were born and brought here. The kids that are here now are also helping ascend all of us. We all have specific purposes, and I don't really start bounding like when I read 3 Waves of Volunteers. There's multiple waves. And when we start labeling indigo, rainbow, crystal, it gives us a definition and a defined way of describing people, but it's also caused separation because our ego is still in check. We have to stop separating. This is the big thing that I was receiving the last 2 to 3 days, is this concept of separation. And when you acknowledge that you are a part of the one and you are with the one, and then you differentiate it because source needed to have experience, and we chose vehicles to have these experiences in, but we're multi-layered humans. Our souls are multidimensional. They're layered in different densities, which overlap each other. The hardest transition is now for many of us. Huge implications, huge expansion in consciousness. But we're still here physically. And the conversations that I have with other people is like, well, if we only had X, Y, and Z, this would be shifting quicker. It's going to take a long time. Quo has channeled this, and amongst some other people who channel, it's not moving anytime soon. Gaia, already moved. She's already in 4th dimension, density, with 5. We're in transition. The transition takes a long time. What do I mean by long time? 100 to 700 years. It could take for 3rd density to completely die off, because each and every one of us that is human, that has a soul and is of source, which it all is of source, has to go through their karmic missions, their contracts, and when it gets to the lowest denominator, 3rd will then drop off and will only be 4th. Nothing happens in a snap. The only snap that did happen was when we were put into a failsafe. Now we're back on the organic timeline. It's how you perceive it with your 2 eyes, if you can perceive it. Like I was saying in the last video, I was mowing my lawn and it's not the weather yet to have butterflies. And I had a bunch of butterflies fluttering around me. It was magical. It felt amazing. I was in my heyday. And each level of me growing consciously, I am seeing more past the veil. But they're snippets. Why? Because we need to collectively manifest and bring it forward. I can bring only the little chunks and pieces that I can hold frequency with. But if each and every one of us would start actually acknowledging the actual plan and not the fugazi, false, and not to say it's false, it helped us along the way, but the more of us that actually drop the shit and the hate, stop thinking you're separate from everything, the quicker the merge will start happening for you. The more of us who start seeing fifth, the veil, piercing the veil of upper octave 4 into the veil of low sub octave 5, you will start seeing more manifesting in 5D. The problem is we need to collectively do it, and that is between our individual selves, why we're working on ourselves now. Then we go to the community and the people in and around us, our families, and then it spikes out to humanity, then it spikes out planetary, and then it spikes out galactically. And this is the consciousness, which is frequency and band waves and cosine waves that are whizzing past us. You just can't perceive it. Once you're able to see certain things, like I know during the day, I'm just sitting, I'm tired, and things start vibrating. Like I see things vibrating because I'm frequenting a higher level of energy, and it's distorting the things around me. Those are little peaks that I get through the veil of the process. It's showing me the process. This book validated something very major for me this morning, and that was the fact that I chose to be here to go through it intensely first, so that I can help others see it, understand it, comprehend it, and move into their frequency. And then once they do so, those people are going to be the ones that are spreading that frequency and helping others get through it. And it's a succession and a chain of events that all of us are going to be going through. All of us. Not just some. Some of us volunteered to be here to start impacting other people frequently in frequency and vibratory states, and then be able to actually go through it ourselves. You have to gain the wisdom through experience, through walking through it, not just talking about it because someone found a document on it. And I'm not here, I know it sounds like I'm beating up on a friend or a few of them. It's not beating up on them. They're not there in the awareness yet of the next level stuff. And they will get there, I promise. But in the meantime, a lot of us have been seated to do what I'm doing. So do it in the ways that you, if you can remember your contract, my contract was to put videos out about this stuff, to make artwork, to have the whole, you know, when people get my artwork and they hold, especially the gems, they're getting frequency from me off of the gems because I'm charging them. I'm about to get a really bad rainstorm, so I'm going to be moving around a lot. I'm in pain. Which I might take a bath with Epsom salt and frequency later. We'll see what happens today. I'm going to quote from this section. There's a bunch of stuff I would love to just read to you, but this is what's happening now. quote, we say within that now, because you will all have trial runs and dress rehearsals in preparation for your process of ascension. You may well think that you are sick during that experience because your body will be attempting to release its attachment to its third, fourth dimensional operating system. Now, in order to complete your alignment with your fifth dimensional operating system, I found that wording validating in the way I say that this is a video game and that this is a holographic matrix bound by ontological mathematics. Because when we say operating system, that's implying that we're in a simulation bound by math and bound by a program with, you know, how a computer works and how the operating systems work and different search engines and the internet and all that stuff. If you actually inserted that understanding into reality, that operation system makes sense. If you think genetically, we're all encoded with genes. We all have, like, I have green eyes, I have freckles, I have gray hair. These things were programmed into the DNA. And then free will expression expressed it when I was birthed into a human being. It's a system. It's programming. All it is a program. And right now, a lot of us are going through the ascension symptoms, whether it be physical or mental. We are purging a lot of angst and a lot of anxiety, and a lot of stuff is coming out of you. Acknowledge it, accept it, release it, heal it. In order for us, the tests and trials, these little dress rehearsals, like I was saying earlier, I'm seeing things vibrate physically with my eyes. It's not because I'm tired and my eyes are that fluttering effect. No, I'm physically seeing, as if I'm on an acid trip, things vibrate. I don't need drugs to see things vibrating. And it's little peaks and little moments that I'm capturing these things, just like I'm seeing my other selves in other dimensional spaces. They could be out this way, down anywhere. I always point up just because. But I'm getting more snapshots, but they're snapshots. They're not me sitting in and actually viewing that life or merging with that essence of myself. And now I'm on a ship doing other things. And I'm cognizant of, like, the whole day. I'm not. I'm only getting a little snapshot of a bigger picture. And this is like a dress rehearsal to see. And a lot of you are being tested with this stuff right now. Are you seeing shadow figures? Are you seeing the dead? It doesn't mean you're in the wrong direction because it's an astral form. You're seeing on the veil of reality is unfolding before you. Are you noticing things? Are you seeing things out of the corners of your eyes? Are you getting the vibratory states off of things? And these are little clips. Of course, people who are open and have abilities already see a lot of this stuff, but now it's intensifying. This is the dress rehearsal. They upstairs, being the beings, the light beings, the higher dimensional selves, are making sure your body can withstand the higher ended frequencies. It's up to us to ground to the earth, ground to Gaia. Because once we ground to her, her sentient self starts frequenting, as we see the Schumann resonance starting to spike a shit ton more, we are getting breaks. Because again, as a whole humanity, our physical vehicles we came into can't handle frequency in large spikes and bursts for a longer period of time. We're working it, they're working it, so is Gaia. They're coordinating together for a longer burst, for a longer period of time, but they're doing it in spurts so that we're not overwhelmed. You know, I don't know if it was last year or the year before, this Schumann went off cray-cray. And it took me about 2 weeks to actually come back to myself because my body couldn't handle the downloads and the information coming into me. It was way too much and I was a little burnt out. That does happen. So if you are feeling exhausted, I'm always now exhausted because I'm waking up too early. I'm not sleeping. Give yourself rest. Take baths. Take showers with frequency. Water. You know, I know I need coffee in the morning. Try not to have coffee in the morning, but I'm not at that point yet that I can just wake up and be shiny and glittery and happy. And not to say I'm not happy when I wake up. It's just like but human. Human, wake up. So when we're thinking about these higher ended concepts and you're getting things you're not aware of, or you are aware, but you just don't know what to do with it or how to think about it. Just remember, a lot of this is an initiation for you to see where your energy, your frequency, and your mental capacity is. They don't want to overwhelm everybody at once. If you just started seeing fairies and Sasquatch and you started seeing things that are not pretty and that are pretty rather scary, you're going to get overloaded and you're going to break down. And that's what they don't want to cause. We don't want that. So each and every one of us is going through a different sense of initiation. Slowly but surely, we are rising the consciousness safely to where our awareness is going to be all encompassing, and it's just going to raise further and further up as our higher selves are merging with this body. I've been listening to a lot of Quo as well. Brian Scott just put one on the apocalypse. I didn't get to finish it. I started it this morning. I have to go back and re-listen. I re-listen to those channelings at least 2 to 3 times in a day because there's a lot of information that's being streamed at you at once. We, at the crux of why I'm making this video, we need to stop separating and dividing everything. It's human in us to have labels. It's human in us to say good and evil. But like I was saying in the last Good and Evil, Beyond Good and Evil reading, the more of us who stop separating our other selves, because we start out with source. Mint. God. I'm just quickly drawing, so don't mind me, guys. So if this whole, like, think of infinity, think of light being infinite and super, super effing bright, like the sun. And the sun has rays. So each one of those rays would be your high oversoul that encompasses a lot of other entities within that light ray. And as the rays come down, you start dividing even further and further into what you are now. So you have lots of male selves, you have lots of female selves, but in the higher dimensions, fifth and up, you're merged with your male aspect, your complement, your twin flame, your soulmate. And your soulmate doesn't necessarily need to be a romantic partner. That could be your best friend. That could be somebody that you are working very well with. They're in that pool of source, in the light of source, in that ray is a bunch of energy that has the same signature, similar signature to you. You have your unique signature here in this form. All of you have a unique signature, but in that ray of light, each ray band of the band that's a ray, in there is a bunch of people with a similar frequency energy signature to you. And when you meet them in human form, it doesn't need to be romantic. It's a soul tribe. It's the people that you are in the pool of God with, close enough to each other energetically. And as you keep coming and densifying down, you take physical form. And when you take physical form, then you merge out to being either a male or a female, and depending on what life you're living. We needed the separation to understand, to grow, to learn, to inhabit both. I know my last life I was a male, but most of my lives were female heavy because it served a purpose. But a lot of my lives were staggered in between eras and cycles. And a lot of the things that people saw, I was already in my light body for. And we'll get into the light body. Crazy shit. Third, fourth, density, dimension. Fifth, sixth, seven. It puts squiggly lines as the frequency. Third dimensional female, me. Third dimensional male. We're separate. This guy's going off on his experience. I'm doing my experience. Yay. Yay. Fourth dimensional male. See all those squiggles? That's the other self helping awareness. Yay. This is where a lot of us are right now. Yay. Female. Getting the other self. All the downloads and all the fun. The expansion of consciousness in that bubble outside of yourself. Yay. This is now. This is what's happening for many of us, not all of us. It's a choice that your soul contracted this, but this is where a lot of us are right now. So we are in the process of starting to arise the consciousness. So third is now fading, and we're going on larger bands. So we're in the middle there together, and this is starting to happen. We're still in third dimensional bodies, but our consciousness is rising. This is the fifth dimensional self, both female and male. If you read Reconstructing Reality, they're androgynous, meaning they're both. So these two forms come down here and play roles and have an experience. And then once they're in fifth, they still are separate, but they do merge together to become the totality of fifth. There's no longer separation and understanding. You're both female and masculine aspects because they are one. And this is your fifth dimensional self. And then once you understand that concept, your fifth dimensional self and all the other fragmental aspects of you start coming in streaming to yourself. So your other selves are now integrating with this self. That happens on 6th and 7th, and I just left it at 7. But it goes on and on and on and on. There are multiple yous that have soul fragments of you. All those little dots are your soul fragments, like the ray of the sun I was describing in the beginning. In that ray is your other selves and other yous out there in higher forms, living experiences. You just don't have the awareness yet of all of it. None of us right now have the totality of all of it, and we're not going to be aware of all of them. We will at each stage of ascension and each going up and doing the work and figuring it out, then more of us will start becoming a bigger picture. Right now, we're only getting what we need in order to understand the concepts. You're not separate. So the hardest part about, I mention this every video, but is your other selves and separation of good, evil, that person, this person, that race, this culture, because you were all those things and you had those experiences. Now you're understanding that there's nothing separate from yourself. So when you're hating other things and other people, you're hating yourself. If we need to be in unity consciousness and be in the love frequency and unconditional love frequency and the authentic component of yourself, how are you ascending? You want all these fanciful, beautiful things to come into manifestation, med beds, Sarah. You want people to stop having suffering happening to them. But in the same breath, you are hating your other selves. You are dividing and separating from those things. Once you can grasp that in a large totality, you'll be able to see and expand. I was in this state last year. I was still hating on my other selves. I didn't understand the concept. I didn't grasp it that well. As I arise, my frequency and understanding of how this is all trying to unfold, I've had the concepts and ideas. I didn't embody them and practice them. That's the hard part. because we're so used to following the fold of other people and marching to, getting on a train and marching with those people. And I don't even think those people are even aware of that either. That because you have similarities in thinking processes and programming, that you have similarities to other people, you jump on the train and you want to, encourage other people. So you go along with their thinking. And I see this all the time. I don't choose to partake in those things anymore. The awareness of your other selves doing evil and bad things is acknowledging you have another self. We're all unique expressions of source. So when you find source in whatever you would like to name source, God, infinite creator, the infinite intelligence, the creative expressive thought manifested, whatever you want to think of that as, deem that name in there, insert name, label. Once you sit and under and enter and embody the fact that you are source, you have a fractal of source within you, and so does every other component of this dimensionality, you're going to stop hating. You're going to stop pointing fingers. You're going to detach emotionally from those emotions that make you feel separate from everything, that makes you feel alone. You're not ever and have never been alone. Poopy. So this is what I'm talking about in a sense. Build, quote, build a team of dedicated ones who can join in unity consciousness. The unity consciousness will greatly boast the individual consciousness boost of each of you into the greater bandwidth of group consciousness. Then we ask that each of you share your experiences and place them in with others. In this manner, unity consciousness will expand into planetary consciousness. When the greater percentage of consciousness is calibrated to planetary consciousness, Gaia will have the support she needs to begin her transition. This is her has already being in the process, but it's not fully there yet because we are not experiencing, we're still in 3D bodies, we're still experiencing 3D bullshit. We still have bills to pay. We still have food to eat. We still have our other selves playing evil, doing stupid nonsense. And we're still in the emotional states of these things. If I don't pay my bills, my electric doesn't come on, I don't get to do videos. It's a 3D thing that I have to confront and still be a part. But consciously, I'm transcending a lot. I'm transmuting a lot. That's the other component of what needs to happen. You have to start transmuting the things that are triggering you, the evil, the people, the concepts, the documents, the proof, the truth. Again, it's all frequency and vibratory states. When you see other people getting stuck, they're not embodying the concepts that they're reading. They're preaching it out, but they're not living it. This is what more people need to do, is live it, embody it. And how that works is waking up every day and doing the work on yourself, because that work now encourages you to now spread that love and joy. And even like today, I didn't feel the greatest. I'm really, really tired. I'm seeing vibratory states. I actually had to pause for a minute the video because everything was like bouncing and I can't focus. Um, so like I'm going through the thick of things. It's rough. It's not easy. But you take those moments, you take those pauses, and once you come back to your normacy and in the body, you want to spread it. I try to encourage everybody around me. The work is not easy. Working through these things are not easy. Grasping them and embodying them are not easy. But if you start the process slowly and you work on yourself, when you do that, you attract better things into your life. You attract better people. And it's like a ping pong match of energy. You're drawing things to you, and those things are drawing yourself out to them. And it's magnetism, it's science. And the more you could do this, the more it affects everything around you. Then you start actually seeing and perceiving the outside world differently. Like I said, I was out mowing the lawn and I don't like cutting grass, but it's a thing here that you have to have you can't have it go a certain height. And I had butterflies fluttering all around me. Everything was glittery. It was beautiful. It didn't last that long. But in that moment, I was in the present moment of now. I felt one with it all. I felt one with earth and nature and life and self. And it was a brief moment, but I captured it and stored it and tried to embody that moment of how pretty things can actually be. I want to strive to continue that frequency and that state of being. I want to push it forward and continue, and I want to share it with other people. In order to do that, it's what I'm doing now is trying to help all of you. And either way, at least those of us that are awake, aware, and have the understanding, get the material to read and help spread the knowledge. As your consciousness outgrows your physical shell, your process of returning back to your fifth dimensional and beyond self begins. This is where a lot of us are at right now. With the commencement of the activation of your fifth dimensional divine qualities, your third, fourth dimensional consciousness perception, thoughts and emotions begin their transmutation into fifth dimension and beyond. Transmutation is not the same as change. Change means that new elements of the same basic frequency of your resonance are added to your sense of self. Change can also mean that you have released some of the old elements of your 4D, 3D, 4D operating system. Transmutation means that the frequency of resonance of any perception, experience, thought, emotion, desire has expanded to embrace the next octave of the reality in which you are currently engaged. Quantum jumping. Quote, we say not yet awakened because our awakened ones' first assignment upon remembering their true multidimensional self is to share that information in what manner best fits their talents and abilities. If every awakened one spread the word, within their own manner, the process of Gaia's ascension into her fifth dimensional resonance would be now. She's just saying the same thing I continuously say every video. It's not just me that makes this happen. It's all of us collectively, unity, consciousness, coming together and focusing on not the details, but a bigger picture. So what bigger picture can we all focus on is peace, harmony, things working out for the best and greatest and highest of everybody's timelines, not just a few. To gain control of the people who are dominating the masses and spreading the service to others course of action. If all of us were to do this on a daily basis, which I do, I spread very awesome memes and spiritual sayings and people who channel information and put it in a little affirmation. I spread those out on my social media all day. As much as I see them that I align with, I put it out there. I'm trying to raise the consciousness. I'm trying to make the best attempts to help people heal and understand themselves, understand their abilities, come into the oneness instead of being separate from everything. You are one with it all. Your individuated and unique expression. You're still separate, but you're not separate. Each molecule has its own little signature and what it does and how it makes up whatever it is. You're a component of those molecules. Quote, it is for this reason that we are calling all our volunteers to assist with Gaia's ascension to awaken to their true self. Remember the mission that they chose before taking that embodiment and fulfill the mission they chose. And that's what a lot of us are trying to figure out right now. What's my purpose? Why am I here? A lot of you are still not in the awareness of what your missions are, but you know, like I've been saying, you're here to keep the frequency, and that's a big job on its own. You will figure out your mission when it is your divine timing to have the understanding of what your mission is. Right now, one of many missions is for me to help get this information out. This stuff is new to me too. It's not in a sense that it's already within me. It's just now pouring out of me, and I'm just now conceptualizing it, comprehending it, and getting it out and embodying it and living it and walking it. This is a slow rollout process. That's why when I read a lot of this morning, I'm like, you got to get it out. Many of you may project your experience of us, your galactic family, to the outside of your earth vessel. Then you may wonder why we could always be where you were. You see, we are you, but only in the fifth dimension and beyond. Many of you have forgotten that you are the component of those of the collective consciousness who chose to lower a part of our consciousness, perceptions, experiences, and sense of self into a birthing baby. We, including you, overlit that baby long before it was born. Many of you have been talking with your fifth dimensional self ever since you were born. I know I was one of them. Many of you never felt comfortable in your body. Many of us. Which is why you had so many issues with how you looked. On an unconscious level, you remembered your tall, slim, Palladian body, and that could be any race. So just take that as they're describing the Palladians, but many of us were other things besides that. So you always thought you were too fat or too short. Also, your mind was engaged with us that some of you did poorly in school for many of your Earth years. And this might help some of you. Those who are wearing an older Earth vessel may have more difficulty adapting to this upgrade than other younger people. This experience is much like putting on a new part into an old car. It takes the car a while to integrate the modern upgrade. This is where a lot of us are now. To our perception, we can see that there are several realities that exist within your now. There is the reality of those who only believe in their third dimensional world and can't imagine that any other component of their life is real. So people who think I'm batshit crazy for talking about this, that's exactly what that is describing. Those people are not looking outside of themselves and seeing a bigger picture. They're only here now. I'm going to die in this vehicle. I'm not moving on. There is nothing moving going on forward. Sorry, itchy. You know, many of us are remembering our dreams. We're remembering, and that's the great awakening, is the great remembering. I've always said that. And right now, it's what needs to be worked on is, and I'm in the winter chicken dinner situation right now, right? Like life is being thrown at me. I wrote this. I'm around people who are having hard difficulties being thrown at them. And I'm not so much a bystander and a witness as much as I'm being affected by it. Because even though it's not directly happening to me, it is affecting me. And how I move around and navigate that is changing my reactions and being the calm voice of reason when reason and chaos is exploding around me. And people can't handle the energy, and or they ignore what I'm saying, but then finally grasp that I'm just trying to be helpful. We're at that phase now, many of us. It's a test. All it is a test. How are you passing your test? What are you doing? How are you reacting? What changes in your daily routine are you making? She also goes into kind of like the stair steps of like, right now, and not saying now as in like when this book was written, it's like what the energy I'm feeling is happening to most people. You're recognizing that there's more than you. You're recognizing that your soul tribe, a lot of your spirit guides are aspects of you, mixed with other things, but you're a part of it. Because again, unity, collectiveness, you're not separate. You're a part of a bigger totality. And that totality is made up of different things. So my spirit guides are me with other aspects of other things within me. When you can grasp those things and say, oh, and then when I talked about my higher self jumping into this vehicle from sixth density, Ra and Quo talk about that as well. You're much more than you are in this vehicle. And there's steps in you finding those things out, like what is your higher self? That is only an answer that you can answer for yourself. Because we all perceive and interpret things differently. Once you figure those things out and the complexity and the levels and the higher densities that you dwell in, the more awareness, the more information you're going to start getting downloaded into you. You have to remember our downloads are only given to us. They're kind of tucked away until we get the awareness and the frequency up to meet those codings. And that it's like we are in the matrix. We're plugged in and we get our upgrades. Our information is upgraded via the expansion pack. And when the new expansion pack happens, there's some bugs and things that need to be worked out. But once we get in the understanding of how like regular world works here in reality, here in the now, and you start expanding your awareness of just you, you're going to get more and more and more and more, and you're going to start seeing and experiencing and having a little view of what is to come. But that what is to come isn't going to be fully out here manifested in the outside world until more of us can get this down. Because you are the pioneers of a new frequency of reality, you are among the minority of humankind who has volunteered to enter into the now of transition from a third dimensional time-space reality into a fifth dimensional reality that is based on here and now. So these are the things that we need to practice, being present in the now moment. Reacting in the time is now moment. Once we are able to handle the now and the reactions that stir the now and not really go back into the past, when you purge the emotional states of the past, you're really not going back there, because you're not going back there. You're moving forward. You're moving into the now. Everything is moment by moment. So when you choose to take the conscious breath in the now and be present, not wandering off into a million directions because your brain is not focused, try. I know this is hard for everybody with ADHD and just compulsive stuff that you're always thinking of the next, but are you present in now? Are you allowing things to unfold like the lotus? Yeah, we always need to prepare. Future things do come up. You got to look at the calendar, whichever one you go by, and plot down what's happening week by week. That's get it. Like, this is still, we have to function in between the body physically being here and then mentally focusing in on higher dimensional stuff. Because eventually things are going to start merging and becoming a little bit easier for us to stomach it. But right now, it's the preparation point that we're in. We're preparing for this branch out moving forward. We're getting our brains ready to take that leap. But as our brains are doing that, our bodies are not moving. They're here. They're shifting slowly. So this is where a lot of our energy is bogged in and the confusion happens and the chaos is happening. We don't know what's going on. It's a process that we need to be patient with and let it unfold in its divine timing. It's the grasping of there's multiple selves. Stop separating yourself from everything. Give compassion to your other selves that are not behaving properly. When you can harmonize all of it, we will be better for it. Things will start quickening. I hear a lot of people like, oh my gosh. But in the oh my gosh moment, what are you contributing your energy to? When you're in chats, when you're talking amongst the common people, what are you projecting out there? We have a full moon tonight. Take advantage of what you are putting into manifestation, and what you're thinking about will start unfolding. But you got to put the work in mentally and physically. We still have to put action into motion to have a cause and effect. Are you contributing to that coming to you, or are you blocking it because you're not in the here and the now present moment to receive it? Are you expecting things? Are you projecting things out there that are bogging down your clear thought? If you are, it's practice time. This is a transition. This is practice. This is like, get it until you're comfortable with it. This book is fantastic. And it's worded very well. So we are comprehending what's going on. I highly suggest you support her work. I'm glad that I didn't choose any other book, that I'm choosing this one for a reason, because it's that good. And it's validating me in big ways. And I don't need the validation anymore. I'm pretty confident in what I've been saying, but still in this 3D reality, people still need tangible evidence. And here is tangible. It's a material book. It's words. Well, raw, same thing. People channel and then they write it down. There, if you need to read it, to feel it, to absorb it, to understand it for yourself, perceive it differently from me, read it. I know a lot of people are getting back to me with reconstructing reality, and that they've gotten a lot out of that book, that they really understand it, they're meshing with it, they get it. They could throw themselves into the storyline and go, that means a lot to me. I don't like to hide or keep things to myself, because then I wouldn't be in my purpose. Find things that you connect with. I'm finding the things I'm connecting with. I'm just sharing it with you. But each of us, I connect with artwork. You might connect with music or writing or poetry, or whatever you do on a daily basis. We need to get this information out. We need to express it in our own way, uniquely, to other people so they can understand it. You know, sometimes I'm not the right person to be the frequency to deliver a message, but maybe my male counterpart will. Because some men are very stubborn. Some women are very stubborn. And it doesn't mean that they hate me or disrespect me. It's just that they need another person to deliver them the same message. But they're going to do it in their unique way with their unique frequency. So it's up to all of us to get out there and start sharing our experiences without the fear that you're going to be looked upon in negative light. Who cares? We're at that stage. I walk in my authenticity. I want you to walk in yours. So guys, I am going to have to lay down for some time. I don't feel the greatest right now. Download City, Energy City. We just had a spike overnight. I just saw the Schumann resonance. It's coming in hot for me, so I would like to take a little rest, but I wanted to get a video out because this morning was like, oh, mind-blowing. Sending each and every one of you love, light, compassion, grace, shielding, and protection energy. Please be safe, be seen. Please go in and do the work. Be in the present moment as much as you possibly can in the now. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to my channel if you have yet to do so. And until the next one, guys, have a nice, beautiful rest of your week. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.